Hi, this is Lisa with Essential Life Naturals, and I've got another quick video for you. I was lucky enough to receive some great kale from my neighbor's garden the other day, and she has a lot of it, and it's beautiful and big. And I made a bunch of kale chips, and I juiced some of it, and I know you can actually even freeze some of it, but I wanted to do a quick video on how to dehydrate and powder greens, because this time of year it's what is it? It's the end of June in Minnesota, and all the lettuce and all the greens are coming up. And if you're like me, you plant them all at the same time, which probably is not ideal, because then they all come up at the same time and you've got a ton of them. And unless you want to eat a salad like 10 times a day, sometimes you just have so much and you give it away, which is great. But I thought, geez, what could I do with it and actually make use of it later? So the best thing I came up with was to powder it. And I bought some of these, they're called lemon greens, and you can get just different powdered greens at the health food store. They're really expensive. They're anywhere between $20 and $40. And they're great. They're great, especially if you don't have time to do this. They're super great because you can add them into smoothies and sprinkle them on stews and soups and things like that. To add just a huge boost of nutrition. But you know what? If you don't want to spend $24 and you have a whole bunch of greens laying around, why not make your own? So I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that. One of the things that came up in my garden really well this year was romaine lettuce. And for those of you who are juicers, you probably already know that you can juice romaine. And when I go out to pick it and I just kind of tear off a hunk, or I cut it at the stem and I bring it inside, it's usually just dripping with water. There's so much water and so many nutrients in lettuce, which you probably already know, but they're great for juicing. So, and you don't taste them. So you might as well get all those greens and get them in your juices. But they're also just obviously high in a lot of antioxidants, and anything green is great to add into your diets. A lot of minerals and vitamins in greens. So anything that you can put into a smoothie or you can juice, you can certainly dehydrate and make into a green powder. You can also even, any people who have nettles in their garden or in their yard, or young unsprayed dandelion leaves, those are also great to pick and dehydrate and make into a powder. So you can mix and match it. You can use, broccoli. You can use broccoli leaves, cabbage leaves, those kinds of things too. So you can just do whatever you have an abundance of. But what I have is a whole bunch of different kale, like this, and I have some really huge romaine leaves. So what I did is I dehydrated them, and I happen to have a wonderful dehydrator. You can use a cheap dehydrator or anything from the store. You can also use your oven. Just set it at a very low temperature, maybe under 200 degrees, 175 if you can do that, or 150, and just put it on a cookie sheet, spread it out, and leave it overnight. And in the morning you'll find that it's nice and crispy, like this. So what I'm going to do is I've got a really high-powered Vitamix blender. Any kind of a good high-powered blender is the best, because if you want to powder something, that way it doesn't get twisted up in the blades, but it will actually powder it. So what I'm going to do is, when you have kale like this, you've also got that really kind of thick and stringy stem in the middle. So I'm just going to pull the leaves off like this and just kind of push it down into my blender. So you can see how I'm just kind of pulling it off like that and pushing it down into my blender. The lettuce leaf doesn't seem quite as bad, but still, again, you can probably even just rip it down the sides. However it is that you need to. You can even actually powder the stem if you want to. If you have a really great blender like this Vitamix or a Blendtec, you can do that. But some of these bigger pieces like this, I just don't. So once you get it all in there like this, and I won't sit here and do it all. I just really want to give you an example so you can see how to do it and just how easy it is, because it's so easy and takes no time at all. And it's just awesome to have these greens around. And again, if you've got like wilting greens in your refrigerator, it's also a great way to get rid of them and use them up so that you're not throwing them away, unless you have chickens. which you can give them to the chickens. That's always a great thing too. So we'll get a few more of these in here. A little bit more kale. Shove it all down in there. I'm just going to kind of fill up my blender. And maybe just one more. And the thing is, again, I want to repeat that when you put this stuff into a smoothie, it's really not going to add any flavor at all. It will turn it green, and your kids might turn their noses up at it at first, but they'll get used to that. Or put it in a dark cup, even better, and they won't know. So, all right, so I've got my blender filled up with greens. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to just kind of quickly zip it in my blender, so it's going to be noisy for a minute. And I'm going to use something to tamp it down. Okay, sorry for the noise. And I had the wrong top on there, so you can see it's kind of looks like it's smoking, but it's not. But anyway, what I've got now is this really fine, dark, wonderful green powder. And again, you can use this, for example, you can use it in a smoothie, you can use it in a soup, you can use it in a stew, if you're reheating some pasta or some kind of a casserole. You know, when you're putting salt and pepper on the top, just take a teaspoon of this out and sprinkle it over the top. You're going to add a lot of vitamins and nutrients to it, and again, you won't taste it. For storage, just use any kind of a jar. Dark jars are best, or something that the sunlight can't get through, because after a while that sunlight is going to bleach out the color and it's not going to be as nutrient dense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour it into this cute, look at this cute little jar that I wrote green powder on, and I'm just going to put it in my little jar, and I'm going to cap it off like so, put it in my cupboard, and every time I want it, I'll have access to it. You can make this as often as you want to. It's really easy, and I really hope you try it and just realize, you know, you can be really creative with your nutrition. You don't have to buy everything, because a lot of times the things that you can buy at the store, they're really convenient, but they're super expensive, and if you learn how to do it yourself, you can save so much money, and it really doesn't take that much time after all. And it's actually better for you because it's fresher. Sometimes the things that have that you get at the store have been sitting on the shelf for quite a while too. So anyway, good luck, good health, and God bless.